All right, everybody, welcome to week 3 of the top 7 picks talk. We're about to call Dan Geider here, a man who needs no introduction, my NIU roommate. Shout out to Ryan Walter, our other roommate. Not a shout out to the other ones I had. Wherever you are, Joriel, eat shit. There's only one song to intro this man with. Absolutely. Hey, welcome. What's going on, man?
Speaking of 2003,
all right.
the fish shirt.
I didn't know the fish shirt still existed. Of all the Dan Geider shirts, the fish shirt would be slightly behind the Blueberry Waffalo shirt. Blueberry Waffle, you know, it's probably made more appearances, but the fish shirt has been there for some big moments. So
I'm just waiting for some surprise people to come pop through the door when the fish shirt.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. It was also the last time the Cubs were really legitimately good at baseball too. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and we don't have a. We can go beer for beer in the one game playoff, and hopefully that means we'll go to more games this year. But all right, let me get into it quick so we don't bore our listeners, including you, Mike Vuja, who pussied out on the podcast this week. Top 7 picks, I've already sent you to them, a little bit different this week. Really quickly, I know there's a couple you probably could care less about. I want you to let me know if you're for it or against it. It's okay if you are. Number 7 pick, I'm taking the Aztecs. They got their asses kicked last week. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. They got their asses kicked last week by Cal, but this week they're playing USA. Not the United States of America, but South Alabama, who's been getting their asses kicked every week so far this year. I like San Diego State to win that one. What do you think?
Don't know much about either team, but one thing I would say is that when there's two crappy teams involved, no offense to your friend who's the Aztec fan, I like the point when they're getting double-digit points.
Yeah, all right.
15
I'm thinking cross-country trip. Cross-country trip.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see. I mean, obviously, it's a rough week. I looked at the picks, and usually I have 12 to 14 games I like, and I like 9 this week.
Yep.
And one of them I had was the wrong line, so I only really liked 8. So we had to fix that. Number 6 pick. We get in right into your favorite topic of the early season, which is I'm taking your favorite team, your childhood team, the team you're going to brainwash little French Toast into loving for the rest of his life, versus your favorite online team. And I know you'll have mixed emotions when the Rebs take on the Wolverines this week. But 5 touchdowns, is that a little too much? I mean,
that's way too much now.
Yeah, that's what I.
The Michigan offense, I don't trust them to put up any point with an offense that has no big play potential.
Right.
They're going to be overrated based on their performance last week. Devion Smith was running over guys, but that's a rarity.
Yeah,
it's not the norm.
And that was an Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon State was garbage. Michigan defense is fine. I guess the UNLV quarterback got hurt last week.
True.
So he's supposed to play, from what I last heard. If he doesn't, it could be an ugly game. But I also think Michigan's going to be very conservative. They get up and rest up for those Mormons from BYU.
Yeah, that game looks a little tougher than it did a couple weeks ago. But
it did with these Hail Marys. These
Hail Mormons. The Hail Mormons.
Exactly.
Not a huge fan of the Mormons. Not the people, but the BYU fans. Yeah, I think that game, if the quarterback plays, they easily cover it. If he doesn't, like you said, it's probably going to be a lower scoring game. I don't think. And what I saw at UNLV was when they played NIU is they look like they know what they're doing on offense. So I can't imagine they're going to get. I think to cover this, they'd have to get less than 10 points or something like that. And I think they'll score. They got to score some. 5. What'd you say? Yeah, 5. 5, I'm taking the Criminals again for the second week. Even though, as bad as they looked last week, I'm doing this more 100% because of Boston College playing 2 1AA, including Howard the Duck last week. How can you play a team that you only got 11 yards in the game and that they didn't even get to play? They had to play running clock in the third and fourth quarters. So how can you go from 2 1AA to Florida State I just think that alone is too much to overcome. I just
I definitely don't trust the dudes at BC. But at the same time, Florida State kind of seems like a team that's going to has all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be able to put it together and being their first road game of the year.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if for me, it's a stay away personally.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't like either team.
Yeah, like I said, it's a tough.
I don't feel confident in it myself, but
yeah, it's a tough week, and I just until I see Boston College play a regular 1A team and actually, achieve something against a 1A team this year, I think Boston College is a 6 or 7 win team. I think Florida State has enough talent to be a 10-win team, but I don't know. And in this case, I at least know Florida State played a real football team last week, and Boston College basically could have done better scrimmaging the local high school all-stars instead of Howard. We're going out west. This is, again, I like Washington by 5.5 over Utah State. I like their true freshman quarterback, Jake Browning. He looks really legit. They gave Boise a great game once they kind of woke up after the first quarter of that opener. And I also watched Utah State last week, and if Chucky Keaton was Chucky Keaton from 2 or 3 years ago, they would have beat Utah. But he's limping like Smiley walking around, the grounds here last weekend. I just don't think I've rooted for him for a long time. I just don't think he has enough in him. Utah State they're not going to get blown out in this game, but I don't think that they're going to score enough points. And Washington's on a little bit of a rise. They're not there yet, but you can see the signs of it.
If Chucky Keaton shows up wearing a Puff Daddy's outfit like Smiley had, then there might be a little twins action there. But no, I agree with you. I think Chris Peterson's a winner.
Yeah.
We got a home game. Utah State didn't look great last week, and that was a rivalry game too.
Yeah.
They're going to do anything there and get up for that game against Utah, the Battle of Utah. So
yeah.
No, I'm with you on this one.
3, it's revenge. It's Bama. It's only 6. I know Ole Miss has scored 159 points or something in 2 games. They do have my favorite cocky current quarterback in college football, in Chad Kelly. Nobody thinks more of themselves than Chad Kelly for as little as he's achieved in his short career. I think Ole Miss is talent level is right there with Alabama as far as, especially when they're at home and they're playing well. But first road game for Chad Kelly at Ole Miss, first true actual adversity for him to face. Everybody's trying to use the Alabama didn't look so great and look at their quarterbacks are kind of okay, and they're kind of forgetting that Alabama's probably going to win this game on defense and running the ball, and it's not going to matter what their quarterbacks do. And I figured it was going to be a 10-point line, so it's kind of hovering in the 6 to 7 range, and I think that's just people overrating the concept that Alabama's struggling on quarterback.
Yeah, and if Saban's getting under a touchdown at home, I have a hard time going against that because it's going to be, like you said, a defensive game that they're going to win it on, and one late score could push that over.
Yeah.
I would go with the point or take Saban to cover the 6 easily. Yeah. The only thing that Ole Miss could have going for them if they start heading to Tuscaloosa with that intro song, Shake a Tail Feather going. We know what happened last time.
I do, and the only thing I regret from the Alabama trip of 2003 is not pushing you harder for us to go to the party of the people who stopped by us on the walk back, that were inviting us to go party with the Alabama people. I knew that you were likely going to marry Kim, and that would have maybe put a wrench into it. But for me, I think it would have been a pretty fantastic experience. Obviously, that was one of the best road trips ever. Obviously, we won, which made it so much better. And looking back, it's kind of funny that we caught them at the right time. Like we're not catching the Buckeyes at the right time, but we'll talk about that in a second here. I'm going back to Syracuse this week, only covering 6 versus Craig's favorite university in Michigan, CumU. I don't understand why it's 6. Last year they beat them 40-7, and Syracuse, even with the backup quarterback last week, put up 30 whatever points on Wake Forest, who I'm pretty sure has a better defense than Central Michigan. I know Central Michigan has given us problems, and I know they randomly have played good against like the Purdue's and Michigan States of the world, but I think it's weird. I think it's a home game. It's not last year they beat them there. Maybe I'm missing something, but 6 doesn't seem like much.
Sorry, Todd Heist, but I don't like the Chippewas at all this year. Made that evident with my first pick, even though they covered against Okie State.
Yeah.
But they lost. They're coming off losing their leading rusher, Thomas Rawls.
It doesn't. Didn't their coach have cancer?
Member of Farts, a proud member of Farts.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Football team. Or actually, I cut him, but he was their offense last year. Him and Titus Davis. Without those two guys, I think their coach had cancer in the offseason.
Right. It's a lot to overcome.
Can't believe he had everything prepared. But no, I don't like the Chips at all. I think they'll get blown out again here.
I will give him credit. Dan made an incredibly bold statement during the first year Antonio Brown was in a fantasy football draft, saying that he was going to be the sleeper of his draft class, and he was going to be a great receiver. Todd Height supported it because he loves all things Chippewa. But you were correct, and he ended up being great. I do not forget that. I mean, you've been wrong before, but you were definitely very right on that one. You've been very right on that one.
That's my 0-2.5 start.
Number one, we're taking Duke -3 versus Northwestern. I understand that the Northwestern-Stanford game was a great win for Northwestern, and people really think that they're better this year, and I don't know really because I can't tell if an early start for a Pac-12 team that's Stanford that looks like they can beat anybody one day and looks like they suck another day means Northwestern is all of a sudden good. Playing Eastern Illinois doesn't mean anything because obviously there's nobody like Garoppolo there. This line probably would have been 7.5 if it was week 1. So I think people are they're looking at Duke and saying, well, they didn't beat anybody yet, which is true, but I'm looking at the structure of Duke for the last 4 years, and I'm looking at Northwestern's up and down, nature of the last couple of years, and I would have taken this all the way up to probably 6. So when I saw 3, I was like, well, that's as good as I'm going to get this week. What do you think?
After we're sitting through 3.5, 4 hours of the Moon game last year.
Oh, yeah.
I can't pick Northwestern to beat anyone.
No.
That was just, I know it's last year, the roster's different, but watching their offense, they got a true freshman, he's a true freshman quarterback.
Thorson, Brian, Big Dog loves the name.
Is he,
not related, not related. No.
Brother?
No.
Thorson brother?
Yeah. No, not this one.
No, I would agree with you. I did Duke in this one.
Okay. Obviously, I wanted to talk about Northern and Ohio State really quick. I think it's absolute crap that for the second time in 9 years we play them and they're number 1. Why can't we play them in the year that they went 6-6 or the year that they struggled even though they were supposed to be good? Like, I know that all of our brethren are always very optimistic, and I know that 34 points kind of shows where the public lies in the faith in how well we're going to do this weekend. I'm pretty sure we're going to score 20 points, regardless of what happens in the game.
Yep.
I don't know if they're going to have a bad offensive week 2 weeks in a row. Just last week it was like 17-0 late third, and I was like, this is the worst possible thing for us because they're probably going to drill us now because...
Yeah. And Urban is now known for not holding back what he can. He can definitely try to sway the public's feeling on Ohio State that they're still the dominant team if he gets the opportunity. But I still have nightmares of that game when we were there. And the Hansbrough twins getting burned and 28-0 at the end of the first quarter, even though Wolf had about 120 yards in the first quarter.
And that was a
frustrating game because I felt like it was a little bit closer. I mean, it felt closer because we were moving the ball so well on them.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, I agree.
And I can see a similar outcome too here this year, where the running game started off real slow, but Harris looked much improved, and Galladay looks like a real number 1 receiver for. I know Brown had a good year last year, but for NIU, but I think Galladay is still better than he was. Yeah,
Galladay, I think it might have been Craig or I might have said it, but one of us said that he basically reminds us of Sam Hurd without the Coke.
Yeah, that was you. That was
okay. Yeah, I thought so. And I mean, he just looks like nobody that we've had, and I know it's only 2 games and it's not that great a competition, but it definitely looks like a difference maker compared to the types of receivers. We've been churning out very fast little receivers, and we don't really get the bigger,